finally we got a Speaker of the House. That only took an extra week. I don't know if you heard about that news. So Kevin McCarthy is the Republican who was running for Speaker of the House. Couldn't get enough votes. It's the first time in a century they didn't win on the first round. He didn't win on the second round. Didn't win on the third round. Fourth round. Skipped through a week. Finally, I think it was the 15th ballot, the 15th time they went up for a vote. He finally got the vote and got into office. But there's a couple really funny things about this. I don't know if they're funny so much as interesting, which is one, Donald Trump endorsed him. Now, Donald Trump has been kind of having a rough year, other than the indictments and all that stuff, or potential indictments, and getting his business got sued and lost, all that stuff. So he can't really do business in New York anymore. But all of his, before I jump into that, all of his candidates, for the most part, but a couple for the midterms, all lost. So that was really embarrassing, all the people he endorsed. So then he endorses McCarthy here for Speaker, and it takes 15 rounds to get McCarthy elected, because the holdouts, and some of them were Trump supporters, didn't want to vote for McCarthy for whatever reason. Now, here's an article. I just pulled this one off from MSNBC, but here's this is what Trump did. Oh, hang on. This is what he wrote. He posted this on his social media site. What's it called? Truth Social or Truth Central or whatever it is. So he wrote on it, some really good conversations took place last night, and it's now time for all the great Republican House members to vote for Kevin, all caps. Close the deal, take the victory, watch crazy Nancy Pelosi fly back home to a very broken California, the only speaker in U.S. history to have lost the House twice. Republicans do not turn a great triumph into a giant embarrassing defeat. It's time to celebrate. You deserve it. Kevin McCarthy will do a good job, and maybe even a great job. Just watch. So, syntax is so good.
Oh my gosh, you just cannot make this up, can you?
No. So he's posted that, and then Kevin loses 4 rounds in a row. It was a big... So it was really humiliating for Trump, because it shows that the Republicans don't really care anymore what he has to say. Because a lot of the people that were voting against McCarthy were people like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but Lauren Boebert. But people that are big Trump sycophants. And even they were telling him, no, you should tell Kevin to step down. They were saying that on the floor. So it was a big, nutsy kind of craziness, shit show kind of thing. Anyway, this is where it gets also kind of funny. So Kevin McCarthy, in order to get the holdouts, the remaining votes, had to give up a lot. And one of the things he gave up, we'll see if this sticks through, what happens, was they can now oust him at any time after any vote. So if there's a vote and they don't like the way it goes, they can vote to have him removed from Speaker. So every time something comes up on the floor, every day, he could be on the chopping block. So what are the odds he's going to be Speaker for that much longer? So he's basically given up he gave up all of his power just to get elected. It's the weirdest thing. He's not a bright guy.
That's super weird.
Yep. And just to help with your confidence in this, I've got a little clip of him right here. Let's see. So you can see this was him not too long ago walking back. So initially he was, when the January 6th, the Capitol riot, the election, he was one of those guys that when the election happened, did the election denial shit, right? Then when January 6th happened, he was the minority speaker, right, in the House. And he actually kind of condemned Trump, and then afterwards walked that back and kissed his ass. So this is them asking him after the January 6th commission had pretty much wrapped up, if he still denies the election. And this is, he's not a bright guy, so listen to how he speaks.
Do you believe that Joe Biden was the legitimate victor of the 2020 election? And do you believe that Donald Trump was just flat wrong when he said the election was stolen?
Look, we've answered this question a long time. Joe Biden is the president. I think you can look that there's a lot of problems still with the election process. They just arrested a former Democratic congressman just the other, was it yesterday in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia? And as we find a lot more information out there, we want to make sure more people have the ability to vote and that it's as secure with the election where we go.
But
Yes,
my
ma'am.
question. That was my question.
Yeah, your question. Your question was
what the White House. Was it legitimate? Was Donald Trump wrong when he says the election was stolen?
You know, Jonathan, we talked about this a long time. I've already answered that question.
What
Thank you.
was the answer? Is Donald
Thank you.
Trump
We'll move on
wrong
now.
when
Thank
he
you
says the
very,
election was stolen?
thank you very much.
You said both publicly and
It's not a, see what I said? Not a bright guy. Can't even dodge his way to that one. Go. Anyway, so that guy now who could also be ousted at any minute for any vote, because that was one of his big concessions. Plus, I think they're going to do the. I think you can see that they're going to do the Hunter Biden laptop stuff. I don't know if you guys know about this. Hunter Biden had a laptop, and Hunter Biden, used to have a problem with I think it was crack a while ago. It was an addict for a long time. That and hookers, and so there's a lot of photos, I guess, of him that they got from his laptop or something. But they're trying to connect it to Joe Biden, and none of it connected. It's mostly just a lot of nude photos of him with hookers. So there's going to be a whole committee to investigate that now for no reason.
I have to be honest with you. I don't want my tax dollars investigating somebody's
Dick pics.
Yeah.
But that's what
I mean,
they're just going to
to
try.
each their own. Like, I don't think it had anything to do with us or the American people. Maybe a couple particular American people that he was involved with, but otherwise, I don't know that that's my business.
No, that and the other thing about it too is it's other than the who cares factor, right? Is the they don't really have any sort of agenda or bills that they're trying to pass. It's mostly just obstruction, and we're going to try and dig up dirt on the president's son. I mean, and I think
Really no reason.
Well, and I think that's going to go a lot worse than they think it is because they forget. I mean, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son. Remember his mom and his sister died in a car accident when he was a little kid. Joe Biden was a senator at the time, so he predominantly spent a lot of time with his brother. His older brother was raised by Beau Biden. Beau was a decorated soldier in, I think, Iraq. And then Beau died not too long ago, 5 or 6 years ago. It was really tragic. He was still pretty young. And Hunter Biden's been dealing with problems with addiction and stuff, and he's been clean for the last several years that I'm aware of. Right? It's like, I mean, you can't get a more sympathetic character here. It's just been tragedy after tragedy in this guy's life, And okay, so he's an addict and he's had some problems with hookers. Okay, he's clean now. Is he a little nepotism kid that made all his money off his dad? Sure, but fucking all the others are too. So it's kind of hard to,
Point the finger at this one in particular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pot kettle at that point, All right, so I just think it's funny, but it's like, yeah, that'll be interesting to see all that coming through. I don't think we're going to see the Republicans do much of anything over the next 2 years. It's just going to be dick pics and and investigative committees on nothing. So, anyway.